So the Model T was Ford's first automobile mass-produced on moving assembly lines with completely interchangeable parts, marketing to the middle class. Now Henry Ford said this about the vehicle: "I will build a car for the great multitude. It will be large enough for the family, but small enough for the individual to run and care for. It will be constructed of the best materials, by the best man to be hired, after the simplest designs that modern engineering can devise. But it will be so low in price that no man making a good salary will be unable to own one, and enjoy with his family the blessings of hours of pleasure in God's greatest open spaces." Now, although credit for the development of the assembly line belongs to Ranson E. Olds, the first mass-produced automobile, the Oldsmobile Curved Dash, beginning in 1901, the tremendous advances in the efficiency of the system over the life of the Model T can be credited almost entirely to the vision of Ford and his engineers. So the next most important part, which is our 8th most important, is the new state constitution, and in 1963 is ratified at the April election. And Article 1 of the Michigan Constitution is analogous to the United States Bill of Rights and consists of 27 sections, though originally consisting of only 23 sections when the current Constitution was adopted in 1963. It is similar to the Declaration of Rights in many other states' constitutions and mirrors many of the provisions found in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Section 1 spells out how all political power is inherent to the people. Now, Section 2 establishes the rule of law, equality before the law, and principles of non-discrimination. Section 3 describes the rights of assembly, conciliation, instruction, and petition. The rights of association and protest can be derived from this section. Section 4 establishes the freedom of religion by saying every person shall be at the liberty to worship God according to the dictates of his own conscience. Now, Section 5 protects the freedom of speech and the freedom of press. Section 6 consists to the right to bear arms. Section 7 provides the military power is subordinate to the civil power, and Section 8 provides protection against the quartering of soldiers on private property and the undue intrusion of agents of the state. Section 9 prohibits slavery and involuntary servitude, but specifically allows for criminal punishments that amount to community service. Section 10 says no bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contract shall be enacted. Section 11 protects against unreasonable searches and seizures and creates the necessity for law enforcement to obtain warrants to conduct either one. Part of Section 11 was struck down numerous times in court as being a violation of the United States Constitution. That part reads, "The provisions of this section shall not be construed to bar from evidence in any criminal proceeding any narcotic, drug, firearm, bomb, explosive, or any other dangerous weapon seized by a peace officer outside the curtilage of any dwelling house in this state." Section 12 protects the right of habeas corpus, while Section 13 provides a suitor in any court of this state has the right to prosecute or defend his suit, either in his own proper person or by an attorney, and it could be interpreted as the right of access to the courts. Section 14 preserves the right to trial by jury in both civil and criminal cases, and Section 15 prohibits double jeopardy, provides that all persons shall before conviction be liable by sufficient severities, but goes on to list the limited instances where bail can be denied and the remedies for those who were denied bail. Section 16 protects against excessive punishments, including cruel or unusual punishment, excessive bail, and excessive fines. It also prohibits the unreasonable detention of witnesses. Section 17 protects a person against forced self-incrimination and provides for fair treatment during investigations and hearings. Now, Section 18 prohibits a witness from being demised because of religious beliefs. Section 19 provides to the right to truth as a defense against defamation accusations. Section 20 provides the right of the accused during criminal proceedings. Now, Section 21 prohibits imprisonment for debt, and Section 22 provides for the definition of treason and the requirements to convict someone of it. Section 23 proclaims the enumeration in this Constitution of certain rights shall be constructed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Section 24 provides the right of crime victims and was adopted by the initiative in 1988. Section 25 was adopted by initiative in 2004 and defines marriage is between one man and one woman, effectively prohibiting same-sex marriage and polygamy. Section 26 prohibits affirmative actions programs and calls for the equal treatment of all candidates for public election, employment, and contracts. It was adopted in 2006 by the initiative. Section 27 provides for human embryonic stem cell research in the state. It was adopted by initiative in 2008. So only reason I think that's really important is because that's kind of how our government is run and how our state's laws are shown and how they are followed in our state. So the next main point is about Lansing. In 1977, Lansing celebrates its sesquicentennial as Michigan State's capital. So Lansing is the capital of the U.S. state of Michigan and is mostly in Ingham County, although portions of the city extend west into Eaton County and north into Clinton County. The 2010 census placed the city's population at 114,297, making it the fifth largest city in Michigan. The population of its metropolitan statistical area was 464,036, while the even larger combined statistical area population, which includes Shiawassee County, was 534,684. It was named the new state capital of Michigan in 1847, 10 years after Michigan became a state. The Lansing metropolitan area, colloquially referred to as mostly referred to as Mid-Michigan, it is an important center for education, cultural, governmental, commercial, and industrial functions. The area is home to 2 medical schools and 1 veterinary school, 2 nursing schools, and 2 law schools, including Western Michigan University, Cooley Law School, and Michigan State University College of Law, a Big Ten Conference University, Michigan State University, and the Michigan State Capitol, the State Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, a federal court, the Library of Michigan and Historical Center, and headquarters of 4 national insurance companies. Lansing is the only U.S. state capital among the 47 located in counties that is not also a county seat. The seat of government of Ingham County is Mason, but the county maintains some offices in Lansing. So I think Lansing is very important because they run all of the laws, and it's our capital, and everything that kind of happens to the state of Michigan runs through Lansing. And we have Michigan State, which is our 2 main colleges and our 2 big colleges. And a lot of people attend there from out of state, even out of country. So Lansing is a very, very important part in Michigan's history. So now my last and final point, which is my 10th point in the 10 most important things to happen in Michigan, is actually my favorite one that I'm going to be talking about. And it is the 2004, kind of the whole season, but mainly the altercation between the Pacers, which kind of created this mean sense that kind of backed up our bad boy history. And then how we ended up winning how the Detroit Pistons ended up winning the national championship. So the altercation in 2004 between the Detroit Pistons and Indiana Pacers took place at the NBA game. 9 players suspended, 5 players charged with assault, and the Detroit Pistons won the actual NBA championship that year, as I said. So the Pacers-Pistons brawl, known as the Malice at the Palace, which I think is a amazing name for it, was an altercation that occurred in the National Basketball Association, so the NBA, between the Pacers and Detroit, on November 19th, 2004. At the Palace of Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan, the Associated Press called it the most infamous brawl in NBA history, while the media has dubbed it the worst night in NBA history. I think it was one of the best. So with 45.9 seconds left in the game, a fight broke out on the court between several players. And after the fight was broken up, a fan threw a drink from the stands at a Pacers player, Ron Artest, while he was lying on the scores table. Artest then entered the crowd and sparked a massive brawl between the players and fans that stretched onto the court. Now, if you haven't seen this 2004 brawl, you should definitely look it up on YouTube. You just type in Pistons Pacers brawl and it'll be the first video that pops up, and it's an amazing video. So after the game, the NBA suspended 9 players for a total of 146 games, which led to $11 million in salary being lost by players. The 5 players were also charged with assault and eventually sentenced to a year of probation and community service. 5 fans also faced criminal charges and were banned from attending Pistons home games for life. And that was only at the Palace, so I believe that they're allowed to go to the Little Caesars Arena if they want to now. Now, the fight also led the NBA to increase security between players and fans, and to limit the sale of alcohol in games. The 2004-2005 NBA season was the 64th season for the Pistons, and the 57th in the National Basketball Association, and the 48th in the Detroit area. Now, during the offseason, the Pistons signed free agent Antonio McDeeves, and he was coming off their upset victory over the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals. And the Pistons began the season playing around 500, which is all right. And however, things would get worse on November 19th in the game against Indiana Pacers when a brawl erupted at the Pistons home. And the Pistons fans, after Ben Wallace and Artest got into a shoving match under the rim. And as the season progressed, the Pistons would post an 11-game winning streak near the end of the season, and would eventually finish first overall in the Central Division, and second overall in the Eastern Conference, with a 54-28 record, which is a day I live to see again, with the Pistons having a 54-28 record. Ben Wallace was named Defensive Player of the Year, and he was an absolute beast with that world-famous afro. And actually in the picture, bottom left side, you can see every player. We have Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, and Tayshaun Prince, and they're all repping Big Ben's afro. And he was actually named Defensive Player of the Year for the 3rd time, which is amazing. And he was selected for the 2005 NBA All-Star Game. And in the first round of the playoffs, the Pistons defeated the 76ers in 5 games, then defeated the 6th seed Pacers in 6 games in the second round, which was probably a very low blow to the Pacers, since we fought them earlier that season. And the Pistons would then defeat the top-seeded Miami Heat in a full 7-game series after trailing 3-2 to advance to the finals for their 2nd straight year. However, they narrowly missed out on repeating as NBA champions, losing to the San Antonio Spurs in the 2005 NBA Finals in 7 games. So they were there 3 years in a row. They won one of the years of 2004. And I actually do remember this, and I remember the night it happened. And I went outside and we just completely lost it, because the Pistons winning a championship is absolutely amazing, and everything that happened that season, it was just a crazy and the most amazing outcome that could have happened that year. So after the finals defeat, which was in 2005, Larry Brown was fired after spending only 2 seasons as head coach of the Pistons. And so that's a lot. The Pistons coaches, they bounce around a lot, and I don't even think Stan Van Gundy's gonna stay that much longer. But in wrap up, those are my 10 points that I think are the most important points in Michigan history, and I hope you learned a lot. And thank you for listening.